I know some of y'all like the hog mollies out there. Let's show them some love. I'm going to give you my top tackles in the 2021 NFL draft. That's right, man. I'm going to give you my top 10, which means you could go check out the full list on Fan to Fan Network. The link's in the description below. It's the pinned comment. So if anyone asking, hey, what about this guy? Go check out the rankings. If they're not on there, I haven't gotten to everybody yet. I'm only one man commentating. And I know you're going to want to comment on this about, hey, this guy should be here and should be there, and cool, I welcome that, dude. I love some good discourse. But without further ado, let's get on with the thing. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. It helps the channel a ton. It helps the video a ton. I really encourage you to do that. And I encourage you to hit that pretty little red subscribe button. Oh, yes, go and do that. That was creepy. That was weird. It is what it is. But the 2020 class was a banger. It had easily between Wirfs, Wills, and who's the other guy? Wirfs, Wills, and it's escaping my head right now. Boy, I'm really gonna get a lot of flack for Mekhi Becton. Because he's a Jet and I'm a Dolphins fan, that's why. But those guys were like top tier, like great explosiveness, great athleticism, strength. Like they were like the cream of the crop. We don't really have that after Penei Sewell. Spoiler alert, he's number one. But after that, it's like, oh, there's not really that in this class. But this class is way deeper, I think, at tackle than the previous. So it's gonna there's gonna be a lot of nitpicking when it comes to these guys, which is what I'm here to do. Let's go ahead, let's dive in, let's get into it. At 10, I got Jackson Carman out of Clemson. This might not be a fan favorite, but you can't deny this guy's size. He is an ox, he is a bull, dude. He's at what, 6'5", 345. He's been a very, very good run blocker for Clemson, and this year he has improved as a pass blocker as well. The big struggle with him is he kind of, like, being a bigger guy, he struggles to get out of his stance in pass protection, which, I mean, when you're dealing with these speedy, fast, athletic edge rushers nowadays, we got it really makes it easy for them to kind of get leverage and bend around the edge. But he got much better at that this year. Still, a bit of it is a concern for me. That's why he's here at 10. But with solid performances against Miami, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, I think, you know what? I'm willing to go out on a limb with this guy's size and power. I'm willing to take him in the third round. Let's go to 9, being Larry Borom out of Missouri. This guy kind of came out of nowhere because the year before he gave up 20 pressures, but this year he has been just a stud. He's given up all of 4 pressures, 1 sack this season. Seeing all his snaps there at right tackle. The guy is going to be he's going to be almost a plug and play type of guy. I don't really like watching him. I don't really see a big ceiling on him though, but I definitely see this guy as being a solid starter throughout his career. And then we got Abraham Lucas out of Washington State. This dude, he's probably the most battle tested in terms of true pass sets than any other guy. He's seen over 1,500 pass sets, and the guy has done incredibly well. He boasts a very impressive frame at 6'7", 334. His big problem, the thing where he finds issue with, is being that tall, 6'7". It gives you up to like just being out leveraged, and that seems to be his problem. Defenders have an knack of just getting underneath his pads and just being able to get around him, out leverage him. Essentially, that's kind of it. Like, that's, if I'm being nitpicky, not necessarily nitpicky, but that's kind of like my issue with him. I still think he's a solid prospect, and honestly, like, when you're that battle tested in true pass sets, typically it translates better to the NFL. So that's why I'm pretty high on him. I got a 3rd round grade. And then we're going to go to Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. This guy has also seen a rise. He's been pretty consistent for the most part, primarily playing right tackle. He has played a bit of left over the 3 seasons. He plays with plays with nastiness, like a lot of nastiness and a lot of momentum. Being in, and here's the kicker here. This is kind of like my big knock against him, because I really, in terms of translating to the NFL, I really hate the offensive scheme that Oklahoma State plays. They do this like wide zone RPO type of scheme, and it's just something you're not going to really see in the NFL. And like I said, he plays with Jenkins. He plays with some nastiness and momentum and just eagerness to get to the next level and lay out the next block. And that's the thing. He kind of, especially when in terms of being a run blocker, he's kind of more of a lunger. You know, I think he really needs to tweak up his technique a bit more, because he plays real, in my opinion, when you're a lunger, you're playing real off balance. You're putting your momentum forward, and it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing when you're playing off balance as an offensive lineman. It just doesn't end well. But honestly, there's a lot to like this guy, a lot to like about this guy. He's been very consistent there at Oklahoma State, and a guy that's seen a very, very big rise throughout the season. And then Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame, kind of a favorite prospect of mine. I know a lot of people love putting him at the end of the first round, and I mean, I can see it, but I mean, part of me, I want to reel back on that, because like, I think this guy's the most second round prospect you can get. He's seen over 2,600 snaps, and all at left tackle. He's a great technician. He's got pretty solid footwork. But by no means is this guy a fluid athlete. He's not going to be a guy that can play in a zone-heavy scheme, which is something the NFL is really moving, like more teams are starting to utilize. And he's just not going to be a guy that can really move well laterally in one of those schemes. I think he's going to be very more at home in one of these power, like not necessarily a power running scheme, but a power scheme in general. But the ceiling on this guy is definitely Mitchell Schwartz, a guy that has his athletic limitations, but he's just a master technician. That's what I see in Eichenberg. So that's kind of like, again, with those limitations, because I'm a sucker for athleticism, and I'll admit, you know, offensive line is probably the least confident position when it comes to evaluating for me, because it's the one I'm least familiar with. Something I've been trying really hard to just get better. Oh, hit the mic. Get better at. And for me, like every other position, I drool over athleticism, and I know on the offensive line, it's not as important as it is for other positions, but at tackle, it kind of is. So with Eichenberg, again, with those athletic limitations, I want to go for him in the first round, but I don't mind him in the second, early to mid-second. And then I have the most popular prospect on this list, Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern, man. What the hell, dude? What the heck, man? I had this guy, and because I know people are going to be in the comment section like, you're underrating him, dude. You're dogging him. And it's like, forget you. I had this guy 20th on my board right after the 2020 draft, dude. You can go back and look at that video. I had him in the first round in my first mock draft. I like the guy a lot. I like him a lot. And then he opted out. I was like, man, he's not really going to get a chance to improve his draft stock. So I guess this kind of just makes him a day 2 prospect. And then suddenly he's in the top 10 of people's mock drafts. Like, what changed? What changed? I don't get it. I think people with their mock drafts, they now, like, during this point in the season, they start spicing it up, throwing some variety, some possibilities out there. And I think when it's all said and done, I don't think Rashawn Slater will be a first round pick. I know a lot of people like that. They like his versatility, but this guy, he's a great prospect though. He's a great prospect, but he's not a top 10 pick. He played his first 2 seasons, he was very consistent at right tackle, and then he was just very dominant at left tackle in 2019, being probably the best at handling Chase Young, because we all know in 2019, Chase Young, he was the standard. He was the measuring stick. Are you a good tackle? Let's pull up the Chase Young freaking ruler. You're not half bad. You measure up. Like, oh man. Oh, it just irks me. His probably biggest knock that people are going to throw out there is him being 6'3", maybe measuring with short arms. He might be better at guard, and then people are going to be like, I love, now, this is the thing. I see in mock drafts, he can play tackle, but his place might be guard. He's got great versatility. Shut the heck up, dude. Like, you're just trying to justify why you're trying to make these crazy picks in your mock draft, man. Stay true to your freaking board. That's how it is for me, man. I had him at 20, decided to opt out. Like, he's a second rounder to me. I still like the guy. So before you even go in there and be like, oh, I can't believe you're dogging Rashawn Slater, how about you hop off the bandwagon? There, I vented. Are we good? Are we cool? Let's go to Alex Leatherwood, man. I got this guy with a late first round pick. 2020 hasn't been ideal for him, but there's going to be a lot of things you're still going to like about him. You're going to like he's very fleet of foot. He's got really good length, and that's the type of stuff you look at and you're like, I want my tackle in the NFL to have stuff like that. The thing is, he could have came out last year and I think been a first round pick. It's just he didn't have the explosiveness as those guys, as the guys like Willis, Becton, and Wirfs. He didn't have that, and that's why you kind of saw him kind of like fall down boards, and he decided to come back and like maybe improve upon that. Like, and he's been good. That's the thing, dude. He's consistent. He's been very good for Alabama. Just he doesn't really have any dominant snaps on film, and probably if you're gonna make a gripe, man, he gets a bit. He struggles with latching on to the outside of especially speedier pass rushers, and that becomes a problem because if you didn't know, that is holding in the NFL. Yes, and he's kind of struggled with penalties last year, and he's been a bit better about it this season, but that would probably be a bit of a concern. But kind of nitpicking, this guy's gonna be a solid tackle in the NFL, so late first, I like it. Christian Darrisaw, and honestly, the guy in front of him, Samuel Cosme, these guys, they're so close on my board. You could really just pick who you like. Now, while we're talking here about Darrisaw, he's been very consistent since becoming a starter in 2018, but it was this 2020 that just he had a huge just a huge rise. Like, I was looking at this guy when I was making my list earlier in the season. I was like, man, he's been very consistent. I probably should maybe throw him in a day 2, maybe a 4th round. And he's been dominant this season, like literally dominant. He's only allowed 6 pressures, 0 sacks, and he's done this against the likes of Chris Rumpf, Dimikiji, the Duke guys. He did it against Carlos Basham. He did it against Jalen Phillips, who's now gaining a lot of steam for the Hurricanes. The guy, he has ideal size and length that the NFL loves. He's got pretty darn good athleticism. He's not going to be, just like I talked with Leatherwood, he's not going to really have any dominant snaps on film, but this is the type of NFL build and length that really gets you to be a top 15 pick at tackle. And then I have Cosme just because he's a very dominant pass protector. There we go. He's probably the most pass protector in this draft. There we go. Why am I struggling with words? It's late, that's why. But he does come with his own struggles. He struggles a bit with power. He could play a bit stronger. I don't think by any means he's weak, but he's probably the most athletic tackle in this class. He's ideal for a zone blocking scheme. And what did I say earlier in this video? That's something the NFL is moving more towards. So they like these offensive linemen that can move well laterally around the ball. And that's why I have him currently above Darrisaw, but it's very, very close. And then I said at the beginning, Penei Sewell, dude is the #1 tackle. He is a top 3 pick. This guy, he would have been the first tackle off the board in 2020 against the likes of Willis, Wirfs, and Becton. I mean, this guy, he's keen in almost every category: size, strength, athleticism, length, technique. I mean, honestly, you'd be splitting hairs if you were trying to find flaws in his game. He didn't need to play in 2020 to be one of the top prospects in this draft. So, Cincinnati Bengals, I know y'all won tonight, man. Hopefully y'all still got that 3rd overall pick. Don't mess it up. Get this, I'm going to say it, generational talent at left tackle. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I know you do it anyway. I will have a mock draft on Christmas Day, dude, so happy holidays. That's my gift to you, because you've given me so much. I appreciate it. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.